Welcome to the 10-Minute Life Lesson Podcast. I'm Jay Cleveland Payne. When this timer hits 9 minutes and 55 seconds in this recording, you'll have a fully developed life lesson that you can take with you and begin immediately implementing. The podcast falls under the umbrella of my greater personal development efforts, all under the Your Better You brand. For information on accountability coaching or to gain access to tools, tricks, or life hacks, visit yourbetteryou.info. Thank you for joining me on the journey today. Now, here is this week's life lesson. The basic definition of faith, a complete trust or confidence in someone or something. We're not going to go into faith as in a religious or spiritual thing. We're just talking about faith in a belief in something happening. Faith is something we all have the capacity to possess, something we can all hang on to, something we can all work with, and something that we actually thoroughly enjoy when we're in happy times. Because when things are going very well, it's very easy to have faith in things continuing to go very well. If you're a salesperson and your territory is doing great and your customers are very happy with you and always coming back for repeat business, you have no reason to believe that that business is going to die out instantly. You have pretty happy faith that everything's going to go pretty much as well as it did before. And if things start to change, you'll be able to catch it in the process, watch it happen in real time, as opposed to all your great clients leaving at the exact same time, literally leaving in the lurch, as opposed to having all the great happy clients paying you and actually bringing in more money. Happy faith is something I like to think of as a false narrative. It's when things are doing very well and everyone around you is doing great and you have a great, beautiful, bountiful life. And so because everything is seemingly happy, you just have faith that things are going to stay that way. You know, sometimes things will change. You can see little things coming down the line that may be an issue that you can avoid, but you assume you can see it. It's like seeing the traffic lights, the flashing lights of traffic ahead of time before you get right up on it, and when it changes from green to yellow or from red to green. If you're far away enough, you can see it changing, and you can affect how you're driving as you reach it so that you're not slamming your brakes to stop or you're not gunning on the gas to keep moving. You're already fixing your actual motion of your car, using that sort of sketchy analogy there. But happy faith is not true faith. The definition: complete trust or confidence in something or someone. That has nothing to do with your emotions, how well you're doing, how well the world is doing, and how the outcome actually comes to be about. Faith is faith. And so when you're dealing with something that's not happy faith, what are you dealing with? It's just real faith. And real faith can be hard to come by these days, as a lot of people are out there pretty much disappointing us on a regular basis. I have no actual faith in getting great service when I go through any sort of fast food restaurant, because I just assume every time I'm going there, I'm getting a bag of somewhat cold something, somewhat greasy something, which I'm obviously ordering. And because I'm not going to some place that's upscale, I'm assuming that the people just throwing it together are literally throwing it together and then throwing it out the window at me. There are more than enough times where I can think of pretty good and often great service when I go through a drive-thru. And a lot of that's coming from the training that a lot of these places are doing to up their ante in what they're offering in all aspects. But very often I go to the same or similar places, and it's probably because they have a reputation for being bad. I expect bad service, and I get really bad service. And therefore, my faith is renewed in that bad service, and I'm not, and oddly enough, I am not disappointed because of that. But faith should be used towards things that are hopefully more positive. You can have faith and just pure security that someone's going to let you down. That's one thing. But you really should have faith and be working on your faith for something positive. And it's hard to keep that positive faith when you know someone's probably going to let you down. Something bad is probably going to happen. Something that's not in the plan will get in the way of that thing that you really need right now. And you can't figure out how to turn it, and it becomes a thing, a really bad thing that you have to deal with. You still have to hold on to your faith. You still have to hold on to your trust and understanding, but it's hard to. So 3 things to help you keep the faith when it's not good faith is the number 1, appreciate good times and happy faith. Don't be upset because there was a time when you had happy faith and now it's gone, and so you want the happy faith back. Just think back to the good times, just as if I ask you to think back as bad times to make you appreciate the good times. Think about the happy times, the happy faith, the easy faith that came to you, so you can actually appreciate what's on the other side of this one, because you see how much harder it is to do this thing. You can get much more cred either internally or from the people out there watching you do that thing, that you're surviving in what's not a happy faith situation. So appreciate the happy faith for what it is. A simple, easy way to make things work and a way to learn how to basically build up your faith, because real faith comes when times aren't so happy, things are much more dire, and that's when you have to really hold on for the positive to come out in the end. Also, understand what faith and perseverance really are. I gave you a definition of faith. I'm not going to give you a definition of perseverance right now, but essentially you have to really know what it is you're working towards in being faithful, having that ability to trust that things can happen, and perseverance, which I guess I will give you a kind of definition, that is holding on tightly to whatever it is you're holding on tightly to till you get to that point. Just being stubborn and getting to wherever it is so that your faith will arrive at the same point as the actual item or physical, whatever it is, the actual item that you're looking for. That faith, that person delivering whatever, will show up at the right time. And finally, you need to surround yourself with other faithful people, regardless of their happy faith status. And this is where I'm going to go a little bit into the religious spiritual right there, because the one thing you do if you're joining a new religion and joining a new thought process of spirituality, however it is, I'm not going to pick any in particular, so it can be sort of open in that way, but pick whatever it is you want to choose. If you're joining a new culture, a new faith community, and you want to stay faithful, you want to stay within the realms of the faith, you're going to do your best to stick around other people who have been there before. Stick around people who are more seasoned in the faith, more veterans of the faith, so you can watch what they're doing and just keep up with them, as they'll probably want to keep you in that faith. They'll lift you up. And maybe you can't find necessarily people who are at the pinnacle of the faith, so you just hang around with other people who are newish like you, and you help build each other up, and you hope that you can build each other up just as well as those people with all that veteran status. But the best way to stay positive is to hang around with more positive people who are in the like mind of what you're trying to do. The best way to keep the faith and stay faithful to what you're doing is to hang out with more people who also are holding on to their faith. And it doesn't have to be a slave to people who are in sad faith, for lack of a better term, or happy faith. They just need to be faithful to something to keep things going, so they can show you what faithfulness is. And sometimes you learn from watching people in happy faith. Sometimes you learn from people watching in not so happy faith. So it's very simple to understand and get through faith when it's not good, happy faith for you. The first thing is, of course, just appreciate what you had in a time of happy faith. Appreciate that you had a great time. It's better to have loved and lost than never to loved at all, if you will. And hope to get back to love. That's what you're shooting for. Then you have to understand what it is you're actually being faithful for and what perseverance actually looks like to get to the end. You have to make sure you truly understand who you believe is, or what you believe is on the other side that you're waiting for, and that thing is good for you. And the easiest part, even if you don't even believe the first 2 parts, is surround yourself with other faithful people. It's pretty simple. If you surround yourself with positive people, you'll probably turn out positive by contact. If you find yourself with very successful, high-value people, you'll find a way to push yourself to want to be like that. You'll be more like the people you're with. So make sure if you're having issues with faith, you're hanging out with faith-based people. Faith is kind of a weird, sticky situation to talk about because it's not so much there, but it is. But there are ways to make sure it's there, even when it really isn't. Thank you very much for joining us for this week's podcast. Again, this does not happen without you guys out there listening, sharing, talking, carrying on, if you will. So please share the podcast with like-minded people so we have more people in the community who are engaged in personal and professional development. And, of course, find out more about the podcast and things we have going on by visiting our main website, yourbetteryou.info. Contact us via yourbetteryouinfo@gmail.com. That is yourbetteryouinfo@gmail.com. And you can find out information about the 2 podcasts living in this project. The 10-Minute Life Lesson Podcast, the one you're listening to right now, of course, gets you a life lesson in under 10 minutes, actually basically under 9 minutes, 30 seconds. At the 10-minute mark of this podcast, you can walk away with a lesson and get to work just like that. We're doing our best to even make sure it's more encapsulating so you understand exactly what the work is you need to do. If you need something even quicker, check out Steps Your Better You. That is 90 seconds, front to back, plain and simple. If you want to find out more about me, check out jclevelandpayne.net or email me directly at jclevelandpayne@gmail.com. As we said, you need to keep up with the podcast, subscribe yourself, also share it with other people so that more people are engaged in this one. And the most important thing is to be back next week for another great episode. We also ask if you believe that we're offering you up some great content, check out the website and look for the links that we have for coaching in different places. So we have coaching that's on a singular level, have simple accountability coaching, have group coaching sessions where we get a couple people and we group coach together. And so check those out. Maybe I can help you get a little bit better coming forward. And if you want to help me because I've already helped you with something, check out my Patreon page, which is patreon.com/jclevelandpayne. Patreon spelled Patreon. If you don't know what Patreon's all about, just Google it and you will find out. And my personal Patreon page, which helps you support me and this podcast and my entire empire, for lack of a better word, patreon.com/jclevelandpayne. As I said, the most important thing I need for you to do is be here next week because we need the people in, we need you in so that you're getting the conversations of positively in, and I can get some stuff from you as well. It's a conversation. It's a family. We're doing this together, and we're doing it together in support of this big project, the 10-Minute Life Lesson Podcast, which lives along a bigger project inside of yourbetteryou.info.